Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunnunde Divyai Stavaihi Vedai Sangapada Kramopanishadaihi Gayandiyam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginaham Syantam Nabidusura Suragana Devaya Tasye Namah. Verse number 4 onwards. Adibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushascha-adidaivatam adiyajñohamevatra dehe dehavrutam varam antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra sansayah yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitah antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam na yati nastyatra sansayah yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitah. So now on, from the 7th, which began now 8th, until the end of 12th chapter, and of course continuous, your whole, the vision should have an all-inclusive view, where no more you can stand as an individual, no more can you stand apart from the totality. This is the ultimate point in your growth. In fact, it is not a growth, because you cannot grow within inverted commas. There is no growing from finite to infinity. Infinity is something which is nitya siddha, eternally accomplished, eternally grown up. There is no slow improvement. There is no slow growth into infinity. Because infinity, nitya siddhatvat, since already eternal, ever existing, at all times, all places, there is no question of somebody growing into it. At no time you are away from it to grow into it. Please understand that, see that very clearly. As a child, when we begin our life, we are so much confined to a tiny little body. The child doesn't know anything away from his own little body. The world has still not opened up. Then his world is little room, carried by somebody outside. But as he starts walking, crawling, then he crosses the boundary of the room, then maybe little house, then go out of it to the courtyard, then to the next, out of the house completely. Then his vision expands. Now it's a village. Some people stay there. People living in jungles, tribal areas, or even village poverty and rural poverty. There is no travel. Some people, their whole world is their little village. Studying is expanding your horizon. You go to the next village, next school, next town, another country, continent. Today, we are going to stars, planets and whatnot, such all these things. So as you see, your horizon expands. In all this expansion, please understand, infinity always there. And what is that infinity? Take a simple example. You can travel from a space, you can travel from a point in space to another point in space. But you can never travel to space as such, because space has already reached us. There is travel in space. There is no travel to space. Understand? You can travel in space. You cannot travel to space because you are already in the space. You can travel in infinity. From finite to finite, you can go on traveling. Never-ending journey. But you cannot travel from finite to infinity because there is no distance between finite and infinity. You can travel from a person to person, but you cannot travel from a person to God, because God is always there. That is why when you think of the word Ishvara, call it God if you like, all-pervasive. It is not one name with one form, it is the name for all forms, we have seen it all. That which is, remember the true Prakriti. Please, I hope you have not forgotten, just because 7th chapter is over. Bhumirapo nalo vayu, complete. Kham mano buddhirevacha, ahankara itiyam me, vinna prakriti rashtadha, apara yam. Yam apara prakriti, 5 elements, mano, buddhi, ahankar. The total mind, total intellect, total I. Panchamahabhuta, the whole gross and subtle universe included. Yam me apara prakriti. Here Arjuna, this is my apara prakriti. Itastu anyam. Other than all this, whatever is left out. What is that? I can tell you, but whatever is left out, you want to name it, me para prakritim vidhi. Know my para prakriti, the transcendental nature, the absolute. So at once I am para apara. When Bhagavan says I, the whole universe echoes with it. Ishvara. Nobody can go to God. What a beauty. Are you getting that point, please? There is no travel to God. Understand? Can go from a body to body, from wave to wave. You cannot go from wave to ocean. There is no distance between wave and the ocean. Ocean is wave. Wave is ocean. Understand? When you say wave is ocean, people find it difficult. Wave is ocean means in the wave there is ocean, but the wave as such is not ocean. God is here, but this much is not God. Like India is here, but this much is not India. Body is any part of the body, body is here, there, whatever you touch, body is there. But that much is not body, because if somebody takes away maybe a nail of yours, he's not taking your body out. The body is in the nail, but the nail by itself is not the body. Between the body and nail, at least there can be a separation, because body is limited. You can cut the nail, throw it out of the body. You can throw the wave out of the ocean. Take that little water, throw it on the shore, because ocean has an end. Infinity has no shore. Shoreless as ocean of consciousness. Paravarjitam. Apara. Apara. There is no para, there is no shore. In the shoreless ocean of consciousness, there is no neverhood. Nothing can be taken away from it. That is yourself. So this is Ishvara. So from now on, whenever you are seeing this, now the complete picture is given. Brahma, Atma, Karma, Bhuta, Daivatam, Yajna, everything was told. In this body, everything is existing. Then, now he says, so one who sees this clearly, such a person, antakalecha, mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Not only while living, the person is liberated. Why? Because I am not there with a feeling of living to die. The body is already given to whom it belongs. The mind is already his to whom it belongs. And in the body of the God, the totality, there is no death. Like in the body of the ocean, the wave cannot die. There is only a change. There is nothing called a death. Same thing also. In this elemental ocean, 5 elements cannot die. If you name it as the Virat, this Jiva, what you call it, Vishwa. Understand those examples, the lines in the Tattva, remember? Same Chetana, identifying with the gross body, Sthula Sarira Abhimani Atma, Vishwa. Sthula Sarira, the Sukshma Sarira Abhimani Atma, Taijasa. Karana Sarira Abhimani Atma, Pragya. Now, bring in same Atma, now Brahma. Sthula Sarira Abhimani, the Brahman, with the total macrocosmic body, Virat. With the macrocosmic mind, Hiranyagarbha. With the total Maya ignorance, Ishvara. So when you say Virat, Vishwa is included. When you say Hiranyagarbha, Tejas is included. When you say Ishvara, everything is. Nothing stands apart. So there is no death. So even while living, you are free. Jivan Mukta. Living liberated. There is no question of yours. Are you getting that? You cannot separate yourself. That is the trouble. You understand? Even if you don't want, you are free. No, Shankara so nicely come. Anichannapi vimuchyati. Anichannapi means anichannapi. Naichannapi. Even if you don't want, you are free. You understand? However much you may say, no, I cannot, no. You like it or not, you are free. What to do? I don't want to be free. You are free. What can I do? You can't establish your bondage. Can you believe this? Where is that knowledge? And where somebody tells you are a rascal, you are a idiot, you are bound, you are a sinner or a joker or some nonsense. Waste. You must see it. If you don't see it, you get hit. Like a fellow was trying. One fellow was going on a roller coaster ride. Okay? He was going on a roller coaster ride. Then something was written on a board. So every time he wanted to see it, but he can't read it, He want to see it, but by the time he's top speed, by the time he lifts himself up, oh, he's gone. Then, but that fellow is a curious cat. He wants to see what is written there. And he doesn't want to ask anybody. So again he purchases a ticket, misses. Again he purchases ticket, misses. Fourth time he sees, he reads it. But then something happens, he faints. And he goes into the hospital. In the hospital, the doctor said, what happened? Oh, I was doing like this. But why on earth must you go 4 or 5 times? And standing and all that, why should you do that? No, I wanted to read that. Did you read it? He said, yes, I read. What did you read? Do not stand. What can I talk to that idiot? Curious, not knowing it, still, must go. So some people are like that. Naturally, they don't understand, they don't appreciate anything. Try again and again and again. What happens? Wrong notions, wrong ideas. The person only get hit in life. But when you see the picture clearly, what is there? Anichannapi vimuchyati. Even if you don't want it, you are free. Antakalecha. Even when you antakalecha. Antakale also. Meaning, Jivan mukta. Living, you are liberated. Jivan. Living itself, you are liberated. Antakalecha. Of course. One is living free, dead will be bound. Huh? If you are living free, what is the question of death? Because you are not dying. If you are dying only, you will be born. You are not dying. You are not even born. There is no birth. Where is the question of rebirth? Doesn't exist. Antakalecha. Mameva smaran kalevaram muktva yaprayati. Yaha mameva smaran kalevaram muktva prayati. Remembering me. When Bhagavan says remembering me means now what? Remembering himself. How do you remember God? When you remember yourself, you remember God. When you remember God, you are one with Him. You cannot stand apart. To touch the earth, what should you touch? Body. To touch the universe, which one you should touch? Universe is here or not? How beautiful. To touch your body, where should you touch? Anywhere. Anywhere. To touch the earth, see, you don't lift your hand. To touch the solar system, touch the universe, touch Ishvara, totality. Touching here is not separate from being. Touching means, as I am touching. Can you say, I am touching myself? What is this? I am touching. The hand is separate. As though separate from the body. Can you say body is separate, the hand touching the body? What? The hand is not body. You see, the more you think about it, it becomes crazy. You can't even open your mouth. That is why mukam karoti vachalam. Vachalam mukam karoti. The fellow is garrulous, keeps his mouth shut. What is there to talk? Or mukam vachalam karoti. Hasho, what a thing it is. How did I miss it? What did I go to? Different types of madness. Different types of ecstasy. As somebody rudati, somebody cries, somebody smiles, somebody hasati, somebody laughs. So many ways. Why? When you are happy, what sound should you produce? Is there a particular sound you should produce? Appa, oh God, I don't know. How many different types of sound you produce? Today I saw our boy, Prabhakar phoned me, Swamiji, snake dancing. Near his house there is a theatre now. So the snakes were dancing. I ran. And this time I have taken it. Really good. Really good. Right behind the wall, so they're just 10 feet away. I stand first in the judge, where? Because he called me, but where? Suppose I reach straight away hit the snake. So I slowly going, then I saw at a distance. I took it. Then I say, if I can go near the wall, it'll be very nice. When near that, just 10 feet away. It's like National Geographic picture. Wow, wow, wow. It is fantastic. You can see that. So when you see that, somebody say, whoo. Somebody say, appa. I say, yo. Now, which one is the right expression? Moments of ecstasy, what is the right expression? Whatever you say is fine. Wise man, when you see this, mukam bhachalam karoti, what shall you talk? Mad. Anything runs. But nothing becomes nonsense. Everything sensible. It touched by the absolute sanity. That is why your every word, Edad samagayan naste ha bu ha bu ha bu. Edad samagayan. Samagayan is the person who knows this truth. Samagayan aste. Singing the sama is singing. What does he do? Aha, uhu, oho, ihi. Ha bu ha bu ha bu. Meaning meaningless noise. In your moment of happiness, what do you say? Meaningless noise. Ayyo. What is ayyo? What does it mean? What does ayyo means? Oh. What is that? What is that means? Simply some ecstatic words. Everything. Life is full of ecstasy. And who sees that completeness? When? All times. Antakale cha. While living is free. Last moment. That is why, imagine, today's lifestyle has become so, you don't know when you are going to die. Yesterday, we saw that Iranian plane with 168 people. Went up, God knows what, boom, fire, done. Who has the time to even think of anything? Huh? How lucky it is to be in a society where you are in old age lying down on the bed and dying. Suddenly car crash, suddenly water drowning, the sheep drowning or something somewhere, somebody, then you are walking around, boom, boom, some crazy terrorist comes and you are falling. Gone are those days when you can happily die on a bed. Sit down, an old man, fall off. Difficult. Anyway, antakale. Mam smaran kalevaram muktva. When you are dying, what shall you remember? Naturally, yourself. Why? Think. When you are in danger, whom do you think of? Suppose you have a monetary problem. Whom shall you think of? A moneyed uncle, or a moneyed father, a rich mother, a rich relative. Why? You are in money problem. You want to study mathematics, you are poor in mathematics. Whom shall you remember? Uncle who knows good mathematics, auntie who knows good mathematics. Any time there is a problem, you remember somebody connected to that. When it comes to matter of life and death, which one you shall remember? Naturally, deathlessness. And where is the deathlessness? In myself. What is that? Ishvara. You think of yourself. That is why in Indian tradition, there was execution. Execution, suppose a person is to be punished for a crime. And before they execute the person, they are asking him, Ishtadeva Smaranam. They give him time. You remember your God. So if you are with yourself, God, what to do? God is chopped off. Ishtadeva Smaranam. Think of yourself. Suppose this is not the culture. What do you want your last wish? One beer bottle. Can I have one McDonald's? Or can I have a hot dog? I mean, a poor thing. I mean, it's not laughing, eh? Please understand. What is your range of your thought? Last moment, what shall you think of it? Eternity. Being with myself. So he says, Antakale cha mam smaran yah praya kalevara muktva yah prayati. Giving up this body, one who goes sa madbhavam yati atra sansayam nasti, he becomes one with me. The English language, you know, he becomes one with me. Becomes one with me as though separate or what? Always one with me, now becomes one with me. As long as the body was there, there is an apparent separation. Apparent separation, like ghatakasa, mahakasa. Pot space, total space. At any time, is the pot space different from the total space? No. The pot is pot. Because of the existence of the pot, it looks like the space in the pot is separated from the Mahakasa. But in reality, there is nothing but a pot space. Is there a particular space belonging to the pot? Wherever you take the pot moves in space. Are you getting that? Wherever you take the pot, it moves in space. Pot doesn't carry its own space. The twist takes place in your head. Do you understand that? Or you are too literal? Some people are literal. Oh, very difficult. What space moving with pot? What space is moving with pot? Hey, shut up. Like one man was working in a factory, and he wanted some salary, raise in salary. And naturally, no employer ever happy in raising the thing. He says, no, nothing can give it. He says, sir, how can you say that? I have been working here for 5 years, and I am working so much. I am doing the work of 3 people, and you don't want to give me a raise? He said, what? You are working for 3 people? Where are the other 2? Let me know, I will fire them now. Too literal, eh? Understand? There is no pot space is never separate from the total space. Pot moves in space. The pot does not separate the space in it with the space outside. Can the pot separate? So can the body separate the consciousness from consciousness? The pot, are you getting that? The pot cannot separate. Pot does not separate. Pot cannot separate. Body does not separate consciousness from consciousness. Body cannot. Then who does it? Ahankar does it. I thought, this body is mine, different from other bodies. I am here, different from other things. That is when the ahankara goes away, meaning you understand the meaning of the I. The aham pratyaya gochara. When you see that, then what happens? Suddenly everything is one. Sarvabhutastham atmanam sarvabhutani cha atmani yomam pasyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pasyati. One who sees me everywhere, everything in me. You understand that? With this type of awareness, vision, what is the question of your feeling down, out, neglected, humiliated, respected, disrespected? It doesn't exist. Be there, be that. Madbhavam yati atra, hey Arjuna, na sanshaya. There is no doubt in this. You don't have any doubt. You can't even entertain a doubt in this because you are one with it. Okay? Having told this, then the next verse is asked. Oh, so only people who think about you, they go there. Yes. Why is it so? Yam yam vapi, very nicely it begins. What it begins now? Yam yam va api smaran. Yam yam sparan, smaran. Yam yam bhavam smaran kalevaram ante tyajati tam tamaya vayeti. Whatever thinking about, dwelling upon whatever idea or thought, somebody, ante kalvaram tyajati, at the end who gives up the body, tam bhavam eti, that is the shape the person takes. Watch out, huh? It's very beautiful. Tasada tadbhavam havite, all the time thinking about it, whatever the person thinks at the end of the life, he comes out. He takes that particular shape. Okay? Now, one who always aware of himself, he goes on to himself. Indra loka bhavita, if a person thinks Indra, Rama, Krishna, anything you think, whatever you believe, suppose you believe, you may go there. Now the problem is whether it exists or not. That is where matter of faith comes. In the matter of yourself, there is no faith. Understand? This self-knowledge, self-awareness does not demand any faith. Because it is a fact. It is nitya aparoksha. You remember that word? 3 words, na? Pratyaksha, paroksha, aparoksha. Pratyaksha, aksham prati. Anything that you can see, you can hear directly. See, hear, taste, touch, smell, directly. Pratyaksha. These things, Swargaloka, Indraloka, this loka, or whatever many other religions say, different religion, different God, different heavens, whatever it is. All these things, which heaven is okay? Is it Hindu heaven, Muslim heaven, Buddhist 14, 15 lokas are heavens, or Christian heaven, or Jain thing, whatever. Hereafter, people, whatever they talk about, the hereafter, does it exist or not? Either you believe or you don't believe. Nobody can prove it. We can, one type of logically you can say, using little common sense, that you have given up this body, not yet born, not liberated. So in between a field of experience you stay. How long will you stay? Some people say forever. Is it really existing? You don't know. Vedas will say you come back. Why? Until you are aware of yourself. Karma. You have got certain karma. How can you stay without karma phala? Without experiencing the karma phala, how can you stay? So karma phala has to be enjoyed. So born again until you are aware of yourself. So these lokas, whether they exist or not, over that you can have a doubt. Why? Because they are nitya paroksha. Nitya paroksha. This is pratyaksha means directly visible. Paroksha means indirect. Okay. At this moment I talked about Himalayas. Now Himalayas paroksha, indirect. But you can make that paroksha pratyaksha when you go to Himalayas. But Swargaloka, heaven and hell, nitya paroksha. Eternally indirect. You cannot make it pratyaksha. Because when you go there, you don't know whether the same fellow who had heard about the heaven and hell, whether I am going there. And coming back, because nobody remembers. Then nobody remembers because nobody goes there. That is not true. What is the hereafter, after death, whether such a thing exists or not? You never know. You cannot prove. But in self-knowledge, because you are who you are, nitya aparoksha. What is aparoksha? It is na paroksha. Pratyaksha is direct. Aparoksha is indirect. Paroksha is, pratyaksha is direct. Flower. Paroksha is indirect, which is aksham para, which is away from your perception. Atma, the self, the awareness, your nature is aparoksha, not indirect. It's a very peculiar word, not indirect. Then you can ask, if it's not indirect, why don't you call it direct? No. That is where the word, that is the richness of the language, is not indirect because it is not indirect because it is yourself. If it is pratyaksha means you seeing something, that becomes pratyaksha. Paroksha means you not seeing something. Aparoksha is you cannot say you are not seeing it. Because it is not paroksha, because it is myself. And why don't you say pratyaksha? Because I don't see it, it is me. That is why it is aparoksha. Are you getting that word? Aparoksha means aparoksha jnanavan. It is not indirect because it is myself. If I see it, there will be a distance between me and that. Can't say it is paroksha because it is me. It is not away from it's not indirect because it is myself. Then why don't you call it pratyaksha? But in that myself, there is no perception and perceiver relationship. Both are one and the same. That's why aparoksha. Aparoksha, another name for Atma is aparoksha. Aparokshasya atmanah anubhuti. Therefore, aparoksha, Atma, anubhuti, all one and the same. Experience, consciousness, aparoksha, Atma, all mean same thing. The whole living, call it as anubhava swarupatvat. Aparoksha, anubhava, Atma, all one is same. That's why you can't hunt for experience of Atma. Richness. Are you getting that? You cannot look for an experience. You can look for a touch, taste. Today, when newspaper report has come, they have discovered something which is heat repellent. Can you believe? So that people no more die of burn injuries. They have how did they find out? Nature is the inspiration. In the water, in the lotus leaf, if you put water, it falls up. Why? Because there are some air packets, tiny air packets on the body of the leaf. So when you put the water, everything, nothing touches it. So on that principle, they find out one particular something which is nano, very tiny thing, and they put it on some Teflon, something like that, another nano thing, and they created a little piece of something. 75 degrees centigrade it takes. Nothing happens below. It's so good. Many old people, many children, they die of burn injuries. What a thing it is, think. Hot water will not touch you. You can throw it away. Now, suppose Brahman is a sensation. By chance somebody discovers like hot water resistant material, Brahman resistant material. No, are you getting that? If it is a sensation, your eyes are lost, your seeing is gone. Your ear is lost. Suppose Brahman is a sound sensation, that is gone. Tongue is gone, taste sensation gone. Skin is gone, touch sensation gone. Nose is gone, smell sensation. Brahman is cut off. Even if sense organs go away, nobody takes away the awareness that is yourself. Because when you are, listen, you are seeing means what? Experiencing the flower. Do you remember that? You are seeing the flower means you are experiencing the flower. Listen, when you close your eyes, you are no more seeing the flower. But have you stopped experiencing not seeing the flower? You are experiencing seeing the flower. That is why don't be vague. Seeing the flower is experiencing. No. You are experiencing seeing the flower. Right or wrong? You understand? You are experiencing seeing the flower. You are experiencing touching the flower. You are experiencing smelling the flower. Suppose you can't smell, you are experiencing not smelling the flower. You are experiencing not touching the flower. You are experiencing not seeing the flower. Seeing can be taken away. Touching can be taken away. Smelling can be taken away. Sensations can be taken away. Experiencing cannot be taken away. Are you getting that? Experiencing is being conscious. Then you can say, but suppose the mind is taken away. Even if mind is taken away, suppose you go to sleep. When you wake up, you know, pratyabhigya. Words they have used, pratyabhigya. That is, you had experience of the sleep. To say, I did not experience anything, you must have experienced to know you did not experience. To say, in the morning there was nobody, somebody must be there to say there was nobody. In the mountain top when I went, there was nobody. Unless you, the somebody, are there, how are you going to say nobody? So you are always there. Are you getting that? Yourself being aware, consciousness. It's beautiful, always. So you are, that is your being. You are full, you are always liberated. But suppose, a person who sees it, always free. Whereas the person who doesn't see it, yam yam smaran bhava kalevaram. Whatever he thinks, that one, he takes shape at the end of it. That's why obsession. It depends on obsession. What you can do that. That's what you remember. Whatever you remember, whatever you are dwelling upon, that is how the life shape takes. Now, there will be smart Alex. What will they say? Ah, good. I can do whatever I do. Last moment, Brahman. Or they will say, I can do whatever I do. Hari, Narayana, Shiva. Go to Shiva Loka. Doesn't work. And that is why what they do? Some people in Indian tradition is so strong, they name their children according to God's name. So that when they call their child, which child they become obsessed with, so they will call the Narayana's name. So there is a story also for that, Ajamila Mukti. Ajamila means he was a fellow, he was a businessman, and his whole life he spent on that. At a little later old age, he got a baby, and he kept his name Narayana. And when he was when a later age he got the baby, so he's so infatuated with the child, always Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. And then when he was going to die, whom else to think of? Only Narayana. So he think of Narayana. So when he think of Narayana, meaning he's calling his son, now when he dies, Vishnu, Yamaduta, the messenger of Yama comes, and Narayana's messenger also comes. The messenger of Vishnu also comes. This is how people highlight the devotion, but they don't understand there is a big flaw. Suppose Narayana doesn't know which Narayana he was calling. Whether he was calling his son Narayana or he was calling his real Narayana. Confused, no? Yesterday, day before yesterday, I was in an interview in our school. New headmaster is coming. His name is Ananta. We have a driver also who was with us for a long time. In Madras Ashram, he was there. Now he has gone back. He is driving our car there. I mean, a school bus. His name also Ananta. So when this headmaster Ananta is standing with me, I say, hey, Ananta, come here. He says, hey, who? You know, Swamiji, who married? I said, no, there are two. I am calling the driver. If he gets confused, you can understand. If Narayana gets confused, Ananta, the headmaster, gets confused whether I am calling the headmaster or the driver, you can understand. If Narayana gets confused, whether he was calling the son or me, you think he doesn't know it? Listen carefully. It doesn't work. Last one, I will be a crazy coot as long as I like. Last moment, Narayana, that is why people will be calling in his name. Say Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Then they, good things. The Narayana fellow, he has taken 10,000 rupees from me. You collect. Whomever he has lent money, he will remember. From whomever he has borrowed, of course he forgets. Anyway, that's what. So a person can think, I can be a rascal throughout. Last moment, I can cheat God. Bhagavan says, look, beautiful. Read. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyache mayyarpita mano buddhi Mame Vaishasya Sanshaya. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mamanusmara yudhyache Mayyarpitamano buddhi Mame Vaishasya samshaya. Since whatever last moment you think, you go, now a person can say, last moment I can be a rogue. Last moment I will think of God and go away. Last moment think of the truth, Brahman, I will go. No, that will not work. Whatever you have been thinking all times, that is your thought will come naturally to you. Therefore, tasmat, hey Arjuna, if you want to be with yourself, sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Underline that beauty. It's a beautiful line. This is prescription for life. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. At all, sarveshu kaleshu means sarveshu deseshu, sarvasu avasthasu. At all times, all places, all conditions, throughout your life. Mam anusmara. Yudhyacha. Yudhyacha. Fight. Anusmara. Remember me. Meaning, live on with your life. You can't stop it. But anusmara. Remember me. Mam anusmara. Whatever the Shastra Vakyata hai, Guru Vakyata hai, whatever the scriptures tells, whatever the teacher has revealed, may you remember it. But yudhesha, fight. Fight means, because Arjuna was standing on the battlefield, therefore he said fight. Fight to the life. Fight to the life. You have to face every situation in life. Can you escape? To keep yourself alive, you have to do everything. But you cannot afford to lose yourself in your occupation. If you lose yourself in occupation, like if you lose yourself in driving and forget the road, what will happen? Accident. While driving the car, you can't lose yourself there. While playing a game, when people fight, when the football game becomes a battlefield, cricket becomes a battlefield, marriage becomes a battlefield, war-torn, war-ravaged area. When relationship becomes a battlefield, you forget. It's a game we are playing. If you anusmara, if you remember yourself all the time, call it Ishvara at all the time, then even a battle becomes a game. Or else, if you forget yourself, game becomes a battle. Understand? If you forget yourself, game becomes a battle. It's just like you take it so seriously. People start playing card, kill each other. They start playing trade. What? Scrabble, football. What is this hooligans? What is hooliganism in football? My country. You are a fan. Nationalism and all this thing comes up. The game field becomes a battlefield where the person forgets himself. Same thing in life. Relationship. Brother, sister, husband, wife, child, friend, lover, beloved. All these game. But that game becomes a battle. Why? Person forgets himself. Therefore, sarveshu kaleshu, all conditions, all times. Sarveshu deseshu, all places, morning, evening, midday, all places. Sarvasu avasthasu, at all time, anusmara. As I told you the example, when you are driving, You cannot afford to close your eyes even for a second. If you close your eyes for a second, accident takes its toll. If you are unconscious even for a moment, you speak a word, you wave your hands, you kick somebody, you look at somebody in a particular way, unconscious. Then you have to sit down and pick up the bones. It takes a long time. Messy, messy life. To the extent you are unconscious, to that extent your life is messed up. To the extent you are conscious, to that extent your life is beautiful. If you are most conscious, most beautiful. Simple equation. Simple equation. Please see how it is. When you are conscious living, listen carefully. Conscious living, the taste of it is, sometimes, please observe, between the people, what happens? A conversation begins. Between two sensible people, a conversation begins. Ends up with argument. If you are conscious, you immediately know when it is taking the shape of an argument. The moment it takes the shape of an argument, you withdraw. Withdraw. What is there to argue? Then the person will again and call you, tell me. You are right. You are right. You withdraw. Why? Because you don't discuss sensible things with idiots. As they say, murkhanam upadesho hi prakopaya nasante. If you gave the murkha upadesh, that makes you more angry. Prakopaya nasante. You can, to an insensible, insensitive person, if you say right thing, nice things, he gets more angry. And who is the murkha? The ignorant who thinks he does not need any advice. That is the most arrogant fellow. That fellow you cannot handle. The person makes the mistake, but he thinks he is very much right. And to that person, he thinks he doesn't need it. He knows what he is doing. To such people, you shall say, Namaskar. Complete. Conscious living. You know when your food habit becomes an obsession. When eating something becomes an addiction, you shall know. Can you remember that day? You cannot. Nobody can remember because it was a harmless pursuit, very harmless. Suddenly it has become a habit, becomes an addiction. The day or the moment it has turned from a simple, innocent pastime to an obsession, you have missed that moment. Like playing cards. First it is a pleasure. Hey friends, come on, one day you can play. After 7 days you played. After some time, a regular affair. After some time, twice. You don't play once, you are finished. People start cigarette, harmless. Entertainment smoking. Then, oh, it's okay. Then suddenly it has become a habit, you don't know where to stop. Eating a chocolate after the food. Because a habit, you cannot stop. Eating a sweet after the food. It has become a habit which you cannot stop. Understand? Same thing, please appreciate, why am I telling you that this is life? You tell your child is not doing something rightly. You get, don't do this. The child gets the message. You smile. First time, you are not obsessively angry. After some time, that has become a thing. Then you start that doing to everybody. It's like they say, no reflection on a school teacher, but usually, because school teacher is always reprimanding. Don't do. So home also you become a school teacher. Like a psychotherapist. No reflection on the pursuit. Because he's analyzing everybody, home also starts analyzing his husband, or his wife, or her child, or his son or daughter. Nobody can live with them, because he's analyzing everybody. Same thing, A holy man, you can't live with. Obsessive about holiness, advising everybody. Unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice. Because advising becomes a habit. Don't do this. If you do this, this will be a problem. You are telling what about yourself getting into mess? Are you getting that? Whose advice people take? If they see your life is flawless, your life is problem-free, trouble-free, then somebody, you don't have to advise. They will look for advice. But if your life is full of problem, how can you do that? This morning, a couple came to see me. They were discussing and some things they were talking about. Then a discussion came up. He said, Swamiji, how do you solve everybody's problem? He asked the question, how do you solve everybody's problem? I said, very simple, because I have no problem. Listen carefully. It's not a joke, simple statement. It's because I am not a problem, I have not a problem. Do you know, why do you listen to me? Now suppose you say, oh Swamiji, I don't know what to do, my daughter is going to get married, my son's study is going on, and my house needs a repair. I feel very restless. Now suppose I tell you, I'm opening that orphanage, there is a problem. The school also there is a problem. Running this ashram also is a problem. Now are we having mutual problem discussion or solution discussion? Then what shall you say? Hey, this man has enough problem like me. What am I asking solution for him? You go away. Why the person talks? Because what problem I have, it's not a problem. I don't pose it as a problem to somebody. Not that problems are not there. Human life, situations will be difficult and we have to run it. Achha. Who will share with you things? Suppose you show somebody, you call somebody, hey, come here, come to my room. See this nice flower? Huh? Beautiful. Where from you get it? How much it takes? Can I have one? Oh, you have a nice TV. Beautiful. I wish I can also have one. After that, will that person show you anything? Why? Whatever he shows, you wish you can have one. What will happen? The person will stop showing. Why people show? Oh, Swamiji, this, oh, it's wonderful, oh, so nice, wonderful, very nice, lucky man, enjoy it. Suppose I say, you have got one, can you get me one also? Yo. After that, you will never show the second thing. That if you have a need, you have emptiness, you have a problem, you cannot solve other people's problem. If you are free, you have absolutely no needs, no nothing, then, oh yes, whatever you say, it will stick to other people. Understand? So, anyway, so sarveshu kaleshu, sarveshu deseshu, sarvasu avasthasu, in all conditions, yuddhya, fight, you can't escape, but anusmara, remember. If you do that all times, then effortlessly it will come to you at the last moment of life. Suddenly you cannot remember. Last moment, if you continuously remember, last moment also you will remember. Tadbudhaya, tadatmana, tannishtha, tatparayana. Gachanti apunarabhuttim jnana nirdhuta kalmasha. Tadbudhaya, tadatmana, tannishtha, tatparayana. Tadbudhaya, your buddhi, intelligence always dwells on it. Tadatmana, you are always abiding in that. Tannishtha, tatparayana, that is your supreme goal. In all conditions, you are being with yourself. So any time you are with yourself, you don't forget. When in ordinary situations of life, you don't forget yourself. Moment of death, you will forget. What is the relief? You. What is the solace? You. So what is the question of forgetting it? You can never, at least ordinary moment you may forget. But that time you cannot forget. One day there was a Zen master. He was teaching the children. They studying. So practical training also they give. So one day he asked all the students, climb the tree. It's a big tree, climb. Some 50 feet height, climb. So everybody was climbing. They will go for 50 feet. When they are coming back 30, 40 feet, last 10 feet when they come, the teacher is standing there with a stick, hits their bottom. Oh, the fellow jumps. Immediately he jumps. Of course, he can't get angry with the teacher, but he gets a slap on the stick, a whip lash in the bottom. Then everybody gets it. Nobody can question the teacher. But together they went. He said, "What is this? Sir, we don't understand what are you doing. When we are going up, if you give us a hit, we shall at least remember." While hitting, he said to them, "Careful!" Hits them and then jump. With a shout, "Careful!" He said, when we are going up, if you tell us careful, I can understand. When you are coming down, what is there to be careful? He said, "Cease. When going up, you will be careful because you don't want to fall. When you come down, you will be careless. Only little distance. That is the time you become careless. You can fall and break your leg." When ordinary little situations in life, you should remember. Why? Because that is the time you will forget. Big situations, you don't have to forget. That is why meditation, when you choose to sit down in meditation, nobody to say, "Be conscious," because that's what you are sitting down for. When you are walking, are you conscious? When you are working, are you conscious? When you are eating your food, are you conscious? When you are talking to somebody, are you conscious? When you are interacting, are you conscious? That is required. Because when you are sitting down, you will be conscious. Do you sit down to be unconscious or what? So, Swamiji, every day I am sitting and half an hour meditation. Good. That's good, definitely good for you. But what about after the ritualistic sitting is over? That is more important. When you are closing the eyes and sitting in the car, in the parked car, shall I tell you to be conscious? For what? Your parked car. When the car is in the move, you should be conscious. Now, usually, so-called meditations are sitting down, closing the eyes in a parked car. The body vehicle is parked. The fellow is closing his eyes. Even if you sleep, does it matter? If you are conscious, it doesn't matter. If you close your eyes also, doesn't matter. Why? You are not interacting. The moment you open your eyes, really your meditation begins. Meditation begins means you should be conscious. So, in order to be conscious that time while interacting, you should be, while sitting down you become conscious because consciously you are being conscious so that you know every thought. So that the same thought when it comes later on, you very clearly see the relationship between your thought and the action, your thought and the speech. So, you do not make any thought compulsive. No thought is compulsive. It is your choice. Even if you want to be a little nutty, it is choice. You decide. Then you can cut off. You know you are consciously acting when you know when to cut off. That is where, as I told you, you are consciously speaking. Before this speech, ordinary conversation takes the turn to an argument, you drop away. If you are consciously enjoying certain things, before you discover it becomes an obsession or addiction, you cut it. Or else problem will come. Think of it. If you can cut anything you like at your will, you are a conscious person. If anything, whatever you do, if you can cut it at your will, the person, then the idiotic argument will be, I can cut off at will my sanity. Good habits I can cut off just like that. No problem. So far I was not eating, overeating. Now I can cut off that habit anytime. Why? Overeating you don't have to cultivate. You have to cultivate eating less. Getting drunk you don't have to cultivate. Like to be a failure, what should you do? If you don't do anything, you will be a failure. and not doing anything is an unconscious habit because you love laziness. Ask yourself a question, how long you sleep? I'm not making an example out of me, but throughout life, daytime, no sleep. Nighttime, 10 to 5, maximum. Those days, 7 hours, nowadays 6 hours. 7 hours, 8 hours. Once in a while, yesterday was my lucky day. I was inside the train, 10:30, I went to bed. Lucky nobody comes in. So I lock the door, snore. Snore means sleep. When I get up, 6:30. First time, 8 hours. Because 3 days I was going round. So nice. Last night, 11:30 get up, come back. What time get up? 4:30. Ooh. It's all right. We will not go out. 7, 8, 9 o'clock class. There is no plan for walking. It's all right. Chalo ya. Why am I telling is, spend more time being conscious. Laziness is easy to fall upon. To be lazy, what should you do? When you need not do anything, you become lazy. And you can fall in love with that laziness. And the person. That is why we should do some hard work. When I am going out for 10, 12 days, we are giving the people here, some of them, some pieces of land to do, dig and simply dig. Do what? Dig and cover. Just every day dig and cover, dig and cover. So by the time you come back, muscles, not, okay? Anyway, story. Please, to be failure, what should you do? Tasmat sarvesu kalesu. So most people, when the name of meditation becomes absolute lazy bones. What are you doing? Meditating. Meditating is what? Meditating is an activity or what? Understand? Meditating is not an activity. Being is not an activity. Running is an activity. Sitting down also is an activity. But being is not an activity. Being yourself is not an activity. Your meditation is your being. What are you doing these days? Meditating? What nonsense. Meditation is natural. Yourself. Then act on in life for your sake as well as for others' sake. Mayarpita. So when shall I, how will you do that? Mayarpita mano buddhi mameva isyasi asansaya anusmara. So every time, remember me and fight every moment of life. From the moment you get up, do you remember your first thought? I hope you do that. Do you remember your first speech? Write down on your room. First thought. First speech. Word. You speak for the day. Conscious. Okay. So, mayarpita mano buddhi mahameva isyasya sansaya. So, mano buddhi mayarpita. Suppose somebody dedicates, means dwells upon me always. Mahameva isyasi. He shall come to me. If you are conscious, where shall he go? One with consciousness. So Ishvara here means what? A particular form. So when you say, the devotee people will say, Krishna. So only, if you go on thinking about Krishna, you will go to Krishna. So Krishna is the only God. What nonsense. Is it that meaning? What he says? I am everything. Yomam pasyati sarvacha sarvamcha mai pasyati. So is it Krishna only? What he will say? In the 11th chapter he shall say, everything is me. Brahma, Indra, Vishnu, everything. The whole universe. 11th chapter of the Vishwarupa Darsana, you shall see that. So what is the particular form you shall see? You take any form you like, but in that form see is the absolute formlessness. You take any form you like, see that form in all forms. That also fine. Whether it is, are you getting that? See water in everything or see ocean in everything. See Brahman in everything or see Shiva in everything, Vishnu in everything, Hari in everything, Krishna in everything. You don't want to like this name, you want to name it something else, also name it and see. But make it all pervasive. Now you can say, but I believe in another faith, in another God. Can I put that way? Yes, you can put it if you change that concept's association with one thing. Suppose you are worshipping another God, that God's name is R-A-K-A, some nonsense. Something you think of. K-A-P-A, something. Suppose that God's name is K-A-P-A. What is that? Kappa, Kipu, Kupu, whatever you like. Just I'm telling you an example. So that is the God. Yes. You are associating that name with a particular form. Then it becomes difficult. Suppose you associate that name with the nameless, absolute, all-pervasive, no problem. That name also is accepted. You cannot talk of God and stand separate. Are you getting that? At the same time, you can say, I am God. God is here, but this much is not God. Are you getting that? Like body is any part, but that much is not the body. Or else I can take your body away. Take your hair. I have brought this boy. I brought this girl. You know, I take a little bit of skin from your body. I brought the girl. Huh? Brought the boy. What is this? India is here, but this much is not India. A page in the book is the whole book. You tear a page. I brought the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is that, but that much is not Bhagavad Gita. What examples I can give you? You think now for yourself. Okay? Mayor pitamano buddhi, mame vesyachi. You shall come to. What is that? All pervasive. The language is mameva eshyasi, you shall, he shall come to me. What is the future? Is already with me, you will recognize that I am one with God. At this moment, apparently feeling separated, in the moment of liberation, apparently feels that oneness. In reality, there is no separation for merger. You are always one, see oneness of everything. Close your eyes, open your eyes, both one and the same. Okay? How long? When shall I know it? What shall I do? Mayarpita manobuddhi, how? Read. Abhyasa yoga yuktena Chetasananyagamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Parthanu Chintayan Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasananyagamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Parthanu Chintayan. What shall I show? Mayarpita. So one who dwells on me comes to me without any doubt. How will he do that? Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa. A mind which is abhyasa yoga yukta. Abhyasa yoga yukta. Mai chitta samarpana vishayabhute ekasmin. That is tulya pratyaya avruti lakshana. Meaning, and avruti lakshana, vilakshana apratayan anantariti. Right. Tulya pratyaya. Continuously same thing. Tulya pratyaya. Being conscious. Vilakshana prabhuti anta. That is, whatever you are, there is no other things. You are not thinking about other things. Why? Na anyagamina chetasa. You cannot think of laddu. You can't think of sound, of taste, of touch, of smell. Obsessed with it and being aware of yourself. You can be aware of yourself and you can think of anything. But if you are lost in the thought, you can't be aware of yourself. Are you getting that point? It's a huge difference. Do you understand that concept? If you lose yourself in a thought, you can't think of yourself because you are missing yourself. You are lost in the thought. Do you know what you have done? You have empowered the thought so much that it dismisses infinity. Like one single object It can be a sound or a taste or a touch or a smell or anything. Dismisses the absolute. What power? It's just like with a thumb you cover the sun. With your thumb you can cover the sun. Just in front of your eyes, no? So one habit, what is that? Any. It can be a sound, obsession with a touch, with a taste, with a smell, with a sight. That is why look at yourself. Look at yourself. What is your obsession? Is there anything which is so strong in you? If there is something, deal with it. You cannot ignore it. If you ignore it, it will come back. It comes back. If you ignore it, it comes back. You cannot just forget it. Please understand. If you resolve it, it never returns. If you ignore it, it returns. You resolve that thought. That is why, how do I resolve? Any moment of happiness, I am with myself. What am I looking for in that object? Either sound or a taste or a touch or a person or a smell or sight, anything. What am I looking for? Myself. How can I look for myself in the object? How stupid I am. I am with myself all the time. The more and more you are with yourself, the whole of the object automatically goes. That is the abhyasa. How did you become that obsession? Because you did the abhyas on the object. Are you getting that? How did you pick up any obsession for an object or a thing? You did the abhyas. Dedicated abhyas. Morning get up, first bidi. 12 o'clock, another bidi. 4 o'clock, another bidi. Get up morning also a peg, or evening one peg. Abhyas, dedicated abhyas, right on time. Dedicated. Happy hour, which they call in other countries. Happy hour, which really leads to total unhappiness. They call it happy hour. What a headache. Happy hour. Huh? Dedicated. How do you, please understand, the same dedication that you have unconsciously provided for the addiction to happen, obsession to take place, can you have the same type of conscious dedication to be with yourself? Then you will be free. Many great people, those who are so-called great people, are obsessed with many things. Tulsidas, Bilva Mangala, the story goes. Tulsidas was straina. Straina means like stuck on his wife, stuck. Can't live without her even for a day. So stuck, the woman felt embarrassed. She has gone home, now he follows her home to their mother's house. The woman got so wild. He said, the amount of obsession or love, affection, what you say you have, an iota of it, if you send it to Rama, you will have a vision of Rama, to whom you love. When she castigates you like that, you feel horrible, enough, destroyed. And it turns to Rama. And you know, rest is history. It comes from his wife. Bilva Mangala also same thing, another sage. He was so obsessed with a prostitute. So obsessed. Only son of a family, rich family, but so obsessed with the prostitute. Dark night, rainy season. Late night, he reaches at her door, knocks. So he said, my God, how do you come this time? He said, you are so sweet, you had organized everything for me to come. He said, what? What did I organize for you? You had left a boat on the river side and you had put up a rope from your building for me to come up to your house. He said, what are you talking? What rope? What boat? Let's go and see. When they look at the torch rope, there is a python. The rope, so-called rope, is a snake, something. He's holding out to which he has gone. Or maybe it was that lizard, monitor lizard. Monitor lizard, they usually they hold it, and if you hold it, the monitor lizard's grip is so strong. Armies were crossing to the castles with that. They will throw it and he will catch it. Then with the rope tied, they will tag that and go. Because he will hold it. He will not leave it. Then where is the boat? Shows the boat. Dead body. Sitting on the dead body, he has come to this side. And he said, same thing she told. The amount of obsession you have towards me, if you have little towards God, you'll be see. And he became like that. So that you have obsession shows you have the capacity to be free. Because if you can, is there anybody born obsessed? Anybody? Born obsessed. Born with a bottle in mouth. Born with a bidi, smoking he came out. Anybody? Born smoker, born drunkard, born sweet tooth, born pizza eater. Anybody? Born sex addict. Born. Anybody? Anybody? Born. There is no such addiction. Nothing. Call it food, call it sex, call it anything you like. Please understand. Somewhere it begins. Then it takes a turn. When it takes a turn, what is the abhyas? You have done a regular practice, habit out of it. Right on time. You must eat that. Repeat it. And what dedication? If you don't have it, steal money. Nobody should know. And when you steal money, you close your path also. Nobody can catch you. You borrow money also, telling sad stories. My mother is sick. My father is dying. I have got a liver problem. How do this? They tell sad stories. Invoke the sympathy. They take the money. And go for what? Right. So dedicated, you see, so dedicated. You don't mind cheating. You don't mind losing a friend. You don't mind losing your father. You don't mind losing your mother. Why? My habit must be kept, no. My mother's ornament I will take and sell and drink. My father's pension, hard-earned money, I will take it and destroy it. My wife's jewelry, I will pawn it. My son's cycle, I can sell it. Why? Because I have to drink, See how dedicated? No father, no mother, no son, pita nasti, mata nasti, nasti vrata, sahodara. No father, no mother, nobody. Why? My addiction. The same thing you do for God. Pita nasti, mata nasti, vrata, sahodara nasti, nobody. Ladu nasti, bidi nasti, mada nasti. None of these things. Why? Happy. Intoxicated. And you get intoxicated with yourself, get drunk with yourself, get addicted to yourself. Woof. You are free, the whole world is free around. What an addiction. Read that little book, Addiction. You think you cannot do it? That is what abhyasa yoga yuktena. Like any habit to develop, you have sacrificed everybody, no? You don't care for your father, mother, society, anybody. What the both people will say, what they will think. You become shameless. You become totally shameless. You have no consideration for anybody anymore. Can you have same dedication to be with yourself? How long it will take? 1 second. Why? With other things you have to get it to have a habit. Here it's already got. How difficult? Are you getting that? I have to get that bidi, I have to get that cigar, I have to get that drugs, I have to get that drinks. How much money I have to pay? And here it available free. Your happiness, purchase. How much money you should get from somebody? Should you ask anything for anybody? You don't have to ask anything, only give up, give up, give up. And give up what? Not even anything, only I. And give up means also, not even permanently give up. Just see the meaning, then use it. In this, which is easier? Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa. Chetasa no anyagamina. Anyagamina chetasa na Ishwarad anya. Brahmanaha atmanaha anya. There is something other than me and the Brahman, the absolute. Happiness somewhere? No. If you see it, your mind will be there. What shall you think of when you close your eyes? Whatever gives you happiness. If yourself is happiness, what thought will come? Except functional thought, nothing else will come. Okay, enough meditation, go, 8 o'clock breakfast, don't delay others. All right, get up and go. Functional thought will come. 9 o'clock you are sitting in the office, go. Hey, 10 o'clock I told my friend to come to my room. So you become punctual. Everything becomes easy. Only when you have a personal need, you will be so messy about in your life. You know, understand? You have a personal need. So, you give a word to somebody, don't keep it. You give a time to somebody, don't keep it. Unnecessarily getting angry, what to do, get, restless, you don't know what to do. 100 things you take on your head, you can't do anything. It's all sign of wool gathering, restlessness, because person is not comforted with himself. When you are contented with yourself, when you sit down, only functional thought. These are the things to be done today. Bas, get up, do, finish. As you are doing it, you are also aware of yourself. Life is absolute joy. Such a person, when he just always abides in himself, Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati, He Partha Anuchintayan. Dwelling upon himself, he goes to Paramam Purusham Divyam. Paramam Purusham. What? The Purusha, which is Purishayanad Purnam Anena Sarvamiti. That is everywhere and in this body, which is Parama, available all places, all times, all conditions. That is Divyam, divine. Call it divine, call it consciousness, call it light of lights. Yati. He is with himself. And what is that one? More of it will see tomorrow. And again, every moment, please understand, sensations come to an end, like classes will come to an end. You don't come to an end. Books will end, you will not end. Thoughts will end, you will not end. You are always there with yourself. Therefore, what is the fear? But if you are addicted, supply is coming to an end. Suppose your happiness is in something, then you are worried, the supply is coming to an end. No more sweet, no more bidi, no more drink. Ayo, what to do? So it must be replenished. So, anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. Can you say, I am very worried, consciousness coming to an end now? Can you say that? No anxiety. Supply stops. Who is the supplier? Are you getting that? Supply does not come to an end. It's always with yourself. Therefore, no short supply. Even if you give it to share this knowledge with a billion people, enriched. More you give, more conscious you are. What is a greater thing than this in life? Ishvara. Living through life that way, the last moment, the person passes that way, always with himself.